Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Carrie Scroggins, and I'm the owner of KDS Insurance Services in the Houston area. I'm actually in Hockley, which is in the northwest section of Houston. I felt compelled today to come in and do a video to try to help my fellow neighbors here in this area, as we've all been through, and many of us are still going through this dreadful recovery from this horrible hurricane that pounded us on Monday. First of all, there's so many people that have massive damages. There are injuries and there are fatalities, and it is a very devastating event. If you are new to the area and this is your first hurricane, it is a very, very dramatic, difficult, emotionally exhausting, and terrifying experience. I grew up here in Houston, have been through several of these. This one was different, not only from the beginning of the storm all the way through the track, and then the way it came on shore, and the fury in which it came back on shore here in Texas was really a scary event. All you have to do is look at all the videos that are out on social media today to truly understand the power, the devastation, and the damages that are done from these types of storms. So I'm a career insurance agent, 43 years in the business, and these types of situations are exhausting. So on so many levels, they're almost insurmountable to get your head around, especially if you've had significant damages, if you've been displaced from your home, if your home has trees on it, if you've lost vehicles, and all of these things. And it is a very, very emotionally raw time, because not only are you trying to recover and get your lives back to normal, but then you've got to worry about insurance and insurance claims, and what do you do? So we're going to talk a little bit about that today, and I hope you can use this as a guide moving forward as you go through the next days and weeks, and sometimes, unfortunately, months, to put your lives, your home, and your properties back together. First and foremost, do what you have to do to keep your family safe. Never stay in a building, a home, or any other structure that is structurally not sound. If you feel that it is structurally not sound, and a great example of this is some people think it's still okay to stay in your home when a tree falls on your home. No, it's not. Your home has been structurally compromised. You have to do everything in your power to secure your property, but then you need to leave your property and you need to go to a hotel. While you're there, you need to call your insurance company immediately, and you need to start the process of your claim. And then every single thing that you spend from that moment forward, you need to keep a receipt for. Everything: food, gas, clothing, any materials that you buy to secure your home, hotel bills, gasoline, food, every single thing that you spend. Because you have been displaced from your home, you need to keep a receipt, and you need to keep really good copies of those receipts, because you are going to turn those into your homeowner's insurance. That is called other expenses or living expenses, because you have been displaced from your home, and the majority of homeowners policies here in Texas do cover those expenses. You're going to have your dwelling coverage. That's your property, your home. Dwelling is the amount of insurance that you carry on your box that you live in, okay, your dwelling. Then you have your personal property. If you tipped your house upside down, and anything that fell out of your home that's not permanently attached is called your personal property. So you have your dwelling, then you have your personal property, then you have your liability. Okay, so why is liability important to you right now? I'll give you a prime example. You have roof damage. You have a roofer come out, and the roofer forgets to bring a ladder or asks you to help in any way. They get on your roof and they fall through it. Even if they don't ask you for help and they fall through it and they are injured, they can sue you. Doesn't mean they're going to get any money, but they do have the right to sue you, and that is what your liability insurance is. Or if by any chance that huge big oak tree that was sitting on your property was picked up out of the ground and took out the house next door and 2 cars next to that, that is liability, and that is what your insurance policy will cover. Then there's other structures. Well, what are other structures? Anything that's detached from your property that is on your property. Fencing, additional pump houses, pool houses, all things are other structures. Then you have medical expenses. If anybody comes to your home and they are injured, medical expenses. And then there's a whole other list of things that are going to be included in here, but those are the main coverages. Then you're going to have your deductible, and there are on most Texas homeowners policies a wind and hail deductible, which is what would cover this, because this is a wind and hail event. It is weather, so you would have a wind and hail deductible. Anything paid by the insurance company is going to have a subtraction of that amount. So if it's a $10,000 claim and you have a $4,000 wind and hail deductible, they're going to give you $6,000. That's how that works. Then there's an other peril deductibles, which in these situations there can be other perils that would be classified as this. And it's really important then to look at your policy and determine whether or not you have an actual cash value policy or you have a guaranteed replacement cost. That's very important, because if you have an actual cash value policy, they are going to subtract additional money for depreciation. It's like going and buying a car. The moment you drive your vehicle off the lot, you know your vehicle has been diminished in value. This is the same principle. If you have a 10-year-old roof and it has to be replaced, and your policy dictates that there is a deduction for depreciation, then not only are they going to charge you a deductible, but they're going to also charge you depreciation versus a guarantee of a complete replacement. That is the difference. There is depreciation, which takes money away, and guaranteed replacement cost, which does not. Now I want to talk to you about the inspection process. Most of us feel that we're going to trust the inspectors. I'm not telling you not to trust the inspectors. I'm telling you to follow the inspectors. And make sure you know what they've done at your property. Did they get on the roof? Did they walk the roof? Did they walk the front of the house? Did they walk the back of the house? Did they walk the back of the property? Did they check your fence? All of these things you are entitled to do as the homeowner. Now, a lot of these inspectors are third-party inspectors. In other words, your insurance company has hired a third party and they're the ones who sent this person out. So 90% of the time, they're not going to tell you anything. You are entitled to see that inspection document. You ask for it from your carrier. You have the right to see it, and you need to ask for it. One thing I want to make really clear, really crystal clear. If you have damages to personal property, list everything that's been damaged. Everything. Pillows, blankets, clothing, dishes, rugs, televisions, computers, pool equipment, everything is damaged. You need to list it, and then you need to start accumulating in your brain, where did I get it? Try to remember what you paid for it. If you've got receipts, great. If you don't have receipts, then you need to start accumulating this information in your head and write it down on a piece of paper. Write it down. Write it down. That's very important. So you know you're not going to miss anything, because you need to turn that into your insurance adjuster as well. And then, speaking from personal experience as a 43-year career agent, if you don't feel that your insurance is covering you adequately, you are entitled to ask for a second inspection. Do not forget that. If you feel disenfranchised in any way, you need to get management involved in it. Because these are going to be considered a catastrophic claim. And there are different guidelines in each state when it comes to catastrophe or CAT claims. And it's very, very important you document everything, you record everything, and you ask to see everything before you accept or acknowledge anything from your insurance company. You want to see it in detailed format. This is really important because once the process is done and once you accept the offer, then if you then find out later down the road that there's something else, that process then becomes much more cumbersome and much more difficult. So it's really important in these first days here to go through your entire home. Anything that you feel that has been damaged as a result of this hurricane, write it down. And please, never stay in a home that is compromised. Your safety and security and your life is much, much more valuable than your property. And I know properties are sentimental and they are where we live, they are where our lives evolve, but they're property. And we need to remember that. We can always replace property, but we cannot replace lives. Okay, so always keep yourself safe. If you have to, go seek shelter somewhere and keep every single receipt. Get a copy of your policy out. Know what your rights are. Know what your deductibles are. So if you do end up in a argument or do not agree with what's going on with your insurance company, you know what your rights are, what the numbers are, and what your policy provides you. And then if for some reason you cannot come to an agreement, you have a very powerful tool called the Texas Department of Insurance. Do not hesitate to involve them if necessary. Now, I'm a career agent, and this is not to bash insurance companies. I'm also a consumer. This is a consumer message from somebody that has been dealing with insurance companies for a very long time, who is a realist, who understands the issues and the challenges in this business, in this current environment in Texas. And it is going to be a challenge. Just want you to know that up front. You are your best advocate. Make sure that you advocate for yourself in this process. It's very important. And for some reason, if you can't get help, if you're not getting anywhere, call your agent. I am going to tell you, your agent's not going to be able to force or make decisions for you, but they can certainly run some interference and ask for additional services or ask for additional management support. Just be very realistic in how very limited your agent, the powers that your agent has. They are to sell and bind your insurance and process claims and process changes and those sorts of things, service your policy. They are not your claims representative. They are not the carrier's representative that makes those decisions. And agents have no power when it comes to processing claims. But if you have questions, call your agent. If you can't call your agent, call your insurance company, call the claims department, and most likely there will be a CAT division, which is a catastrophe division, and somebody should be able to help you. God bless. I certainly hope that we all get through this, that we all remember that we are all going through the same thing, keep our temperaments as level as we can, and help each other. Help each other to get over this, rebuild our city, and get our lives back to normal. Because unfortunately, this is just the beginning of hurricane season. And from everything I know and everything I have seen and read, It may be a really rough summer all the way into October. This is just round one. If you weren't prepared, please take this as a big message to get prepared. Generators, AC units, all those things that you need to get through these type of days where we don't have power. Generators are a really important purchase. God bless everybody. Please pray for all of Houston and the surrounding areas, really for everyone that's been affected by this very severe storm that could have been even worse. Could have been even worse. God bless you. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I pray that power is restored as quickly as possible to everyone so we can get our lives back on track. See you soon.